Right, I'm going to put about as much effort into this video as the devs put into the BTS. So, year 5, season 6 PTS, it is abysmal. Like, I was genuinely embarrassed playing it on Friday, and I took an entire day off to get over it. It really, really, really is that bad. And of course I'm going to get the old trope of people coming in like, oh, not everything has to be meta. No, I don't want everything to be meta. I would like a meta shake-up, which this season literally could have done. And I would also like for the items that they bring in to at least have a purpose or a point. With previous seasons, not everything has been amazing, but there's always been like something that kind of redeems it. But in this season, there's literally nothing. The one thing that we were all excited for was the new rifle set coming. This is honestly, it's horrible. And it's really bad. This 25% rifle and MMR damage isn't being calculated correctly. This is kind of calculating at more like 32%, which is weird. The headshot is being calculated at like maybe 20%. I don't know about the weapon handling, but the real kicker is this. This is, in terms of talent, is really bad. And this is what I mean by I would like everything to be usable. We've been asking for a rifle set for God knows how long, and it's simply just because with Heartbreaker Strikers, Hunter's Fury, we basically have sets to use multiple different weapons within the game minus rifles. The best option we have is a high-end build, typically 3-piece Providence, Contractors, Foxes, and then Coyotes, or maybe even a Cheska piece, just to help bolster the crit, depending on what it is you're playing, maybe something along the lines of Virginian. So the best option we have is a high end when it comes to rifles. We were wanting a gear set to at least get rifles to be competitive with things like Hunter's Fury, Heartbreaker Strikers. This gear set barely does 80% of a high end. Like, there is literally no point, other than the gimmick of running a rifle set, there is no point to this set. You are still massively better off using a high end. In fact, the only thing that was found that this could be useful for, shout out to Toasty and Bro Z, I personally still don't think this is of any benefit whatsoever, but it's a playstyle that you could incorporate if you really, really wanted. And it's quite simply, the set reloads. So, obviously, we've got a 5-round mag. 3, 4, 5. Swap weapon. And we can just carry on. Swap weapon, and look, it's reloaded. We're literally turning Division 2 into Fortnite. That is what we're doing. The shotgun swap from Fortnite. It's like the only useful thing that this set actually does is reload your weapon. That's it. The new brand set, as you can see here, 15% mag size, 20% rifle damage, and then 30% handling. The 15% mag size can actually be of use, depending on where you want to put it. I see a lot of people or lately talking about Ninja Bite Backpack and putting like their Lady Death to some silly mag size, etc, etc. What you could essentially just do now is, not going to have the perfect pieces, but obviously we've got a Cheska piece here. Do we have a Lady Death? We do have a Lady Death, and then we can just equip, is that the named one? That is the named one. We'll just do that one. Okay, so we now have a 36 round mag. This is going to be a lot more beneficial for overall build and performance. We're still keeping some crit chance, we're losing out on crit damage, but we are getting that 15% increase in magazine size from this. This is going to be the more beneficial way to play things like a Lady Death build, rather than going 3 pieces into Brazos to get a 45% increase in mag, because you're going to be losing out on so much more to get those 3 pieces. Like, it's just not worth it. So this is going to be like the more beneficial way to do things with Lady Death, just 1 piece, this new brand set. Which also brings me on to the new named gloves for Obviously, mag size and weapon handling. A lot of people were curious to see how like this sort of build would work with an eagle bearer, if we have one. So you'd have to like jig things around. Like it would obviously be a loss in damage, but yeah, it helps a tiny bit, and obviously we do get an increase in mag size as well. So this is like a potential way that if you wish to play, that you could with things like eagle bearer, or perhaps even utilizing something along the lines of bighorn, which it's still pretty terrible. It helps with the mag size. We've got like 47 rounds in the mag when we do the double load. Like, this could potentially be a worthwhile way to go for this style of weapon, as well as potentially as well Chameleon, which is an interesting one. Gonna need to actually build up the veterancy here. We'll put it to named. It kind of helps a little bit with the stacking due to having a slightly larger mag. We can actually mostly build them up pretty quick, and the handling, I mean, Chameleon was very, very stable anyway, but on a strikers it helps out a little bit with the accuracy to a point of where Chameleon could actually be quite beneficial or worthwhile on a build like this. But again, like, minimal increases for no real long-term benefit. But essentially, why would you do this when you could just do this or this? Like, there's not too much point. Like, so it's not really shaking things up. It's just allowing a little bit of compensation here and there. The new shotgun, this thing is a waste of time. We tested it in PvE. It basically seems to have 0 to no effect on NPC PvE ads. It basically doesn't seem to do anything other than obviously being a KSG with a 12-round mag and some pretty decent damage. The reload on it is still absolutely horrible. We also went to the DZ and tested it in the DZ. There is a minimal difference in your overall movement. I really didn't see anything when we got Toasty to be under the effect of it. He said that he could slightly tell a difference. Me personally, no. And a lot of people said that this seems to stack infinitely. We tried. I took like 5 shots and still nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. Like, I don't know what this was meant to even do. And then the new talent / shotgun. There potentially can be very, very niche cases for this. However, in terms of overall performance, don't get me wrong, I quite like that they've put it on a Super 90. That's pretty good. Super 90 is one of the best shotguns in the game. And it is the best shotgun in terms of pure DPS. It will and can outperform Scorpio depending on the talent and the build that you're using it with. But generally speaking, in terms of DPS, it's Super 90 and Scorpio are kind of there. If you want to go for pure alpha damage, it's the M870. This talent can't compete with the performance of those weapons with those builds. Either flatline, pummel, or just Scorpio. It's a nice idea, it just doesn't work. It's pretty damn bad. Now, the only redeeming feature really out of this entire mess is minimal as hell, the Acosta's knees. And the reason I say that is quite simply the fix to a problem that shouldn't actually exist in the first place. Well, when I say fix, it's a semi-solution to a problem that shouldn't exist. And that is Disorient on Shield Break. The Acosta's knees help mitigate it ever so slightly. And I say mitigate, I don't mean it's turning it off or diminishing it. It just makes it slightly easier to deal with. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get a shield break. No grenades. So we're going to get a shield break. And I'm still able to like control myself. I'm within my faculties. I was able to get in and out into cover being the main reason. And all we're going to do here now is we're going to put it to these just because they got a blue core as well. We'll actually get rid of you. Right. And you. Like, I couldn't even get into cover quickly there. And I was moving in random directions. Like, so it is a very, very small fix. And it's like the only thing I actually really like from the season. That's like it. In terms of overall performance and what those knees can actually offer you, it's nothing. I feel like Project Resolve was a very, very tiny step forward in the right direction, and now we've just taken like 9 huge leaps backwards. This new set is worthless. It's worse than the high end, like I said. It massively favors rifles with a larger magazine. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually quite like that. So on a high-end set, the meta would be things like the M1As. But on a set like this, it would be the USC 4.5, lightweight M4. It kind of would shake it up a bit. But this just doesn't do enough to even make it worthwhile. We are essentially still without a rifle set because this doesn't put rifles back to where they should be, competitive with ARs, SMGs and shotguns through Strikers, Hunter's Fury and Heartbreaker. This just does nothing. This might as well completely not exist and rifles would still be in the exact same place. Like, it's worthless. New brand set is meh. I don't get why you would try and push for the 2-piece to get rifle damage. Simply just because if you really wanted to go for that 20% rifle damage, then I would like to introduce you to an absolutely amazing piece we have down here called Fox's Prayer, which is 10% rifle and 8% damage to targets out of cover. That's more powerful than 2 pieces. This 1 piece alone is more powerful than 2 pieces. Like, yeah. I don't get it. That it's weak sauce. New shotgun, I kind of feel like at this point they should understand that if there's going to be something in the game, they need to really think about what else is within that area. Why would you use this over Scorpio? This is a 16% movement debuff. 3 shots, that says stop them in their tracks. Right. And 150 RPM, 81. I mean, I've got Strikers on, but still. Like, so you could probably get those 3 shots off before you get any meaningful amount of damage and movement speed debuff from this. And this will stop them, that won't. I'm really hoping this is not a sign of things to come, because this is embarrassing now. Like, come on. Anyway, have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.